What's up, everybody? It's your favorite Beast Wars favorite nerd, and today we are looking at Perfect Effect Leonidas. First and foremost, I gotta give a shout out to Brandon. Met that dude through the Skullface page. He's a Maryland guy. We linked up. He let me hold some stuff before the G Creation stuff, and then he was begging me to take a look at this guy, and I was like, man, I don't want to break him. A lot of people are breaking theirs, and he was like, dude, it's whatever. It's on me. And I was like, but I don't even want to go through that. Eventually, I caved and said I'd take a look at it. He convinced me. He said the transformation's easy and blah, blah, blah. And we're taking a look at him. He actually was like, he saw the Fans Project code review, and he was like, man, my boy is reviewing some bullshit. I got to get him right. And he did. So, shout out to that dude. Much appreciated. This guy comes with a ton of accessories. We're going to talk about them. We're going to be very careful. So, he comes with 2 guns. You know what I want to say. I'm not going to say it. Multiple pieces of plastic here. So we got this hinge piece here, there, and there. This is a separate piece, the scope. We got silver paint. It's all a metallic finish on it, and we got a gunmetal paint there and red paint there, and then green paint on the sight itself. So very well done. The handles too fold in and fold out. So very good looking accessory. Same on the other side. The red got a little bit out of the lines there, but not hateful, not by any stretch of the imagination. Good accessory. So, he comes with this back plate. You can keep it on for the whole thing, but we're going to take it off just for the sake of the review. So, these swords, they plug in. And we're going to take them off. And we're going to set that aside just for the time being. Wow. Die cast, heavy as the day is long, and he holds them like a champ. So no issues there. Nice gunmetal finish on the handle, nice red, almost glowing looking paint on the sword itself. Very cool. The sheath that it goes in, silver paint, gunmetal finish, gunmetal paint, red paint, green paint inside. There's no... It looks like they really throw caution to the wind in regards to the cost of paint. So there they are. Nice, very nice accessories. They plug into this, which we're going to look at later. Now this is what's breaking on everyone. The good news is accessory wise, they also come with two replacement bits of the tail. Now this whole bit here, these handles, they come down and they articulate as well. But we're not going to mess with that too tough right now. And then we're going to look at this a little bit more in lion mode. Each piece of this tail here is on a hinge that swivels at the top and bottom. And that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, like, because you can take this off and it can be a whip kind of a thing. We're not going to do that because I don't really want to break this thing, and a lot of people's are breaking. And then it comes down here to a single hinge for this bit of business with this translucent spear, which looks beautiful. This piece itself, white paint finish, red paint, black paint, gold paint, all to perfection. Very, very well done. Just be mindful, because these things are snapping on people. If you don't, you got to kind of align these ball hinges. They're very similar to the Play Arts ball hinge, if you've ever played with one of those, but you got to kind of align them where they support their own weight, because if you don't, the tail won't support its own weight, which it may seem like a bad idea, but it's actually fairly smart. Either way, a very cool accessory. We're going to set that to the side on a pile of cotton and pillows as to not break it. This thing here on his back, you can just, I thought you could fold that up there. Yes, so swivel, I'm just going to take it off, apparently. You don't need to, but you can. And I'm not, to be honest with you, I'm not even exactly sure what this piece does. I guess it's like a crossbow kind of a thing, because he can hold it. It's the same, you know. So there that is. We're just going to set it aside. Like I said, this isn't mine, so I don't feel comfortable manipulating it to its extremes. All right, so let's get going. The head sculpt is phenomenal. It's next to none. It's fantastic. It has red eyes painted on, and then it has this metallic blue finish on the helmet, and then the antenna have like the gunmetal finish. It looks really good. It's on a hinge and then a ball joint at the neck, so articulation is fairly limited, at least how it seems to me. But you can get your poses. Oh, it's not a hinge down at the bottom. It's another ball joint. So it's a double ball peg. One in the neck and then one in the head, which is a very like import figure thing to do, which is cool. Good up. You just had to be mindful of all of its nuances here. There's paint everywhere. I'm going to try to cover it the best I can. So you have this like, this is I think just the plastic, this red burgundy plastic in the back there. Then we have white paint on the shoulders. We have this blue metallic paint on top of red plastic and this burgundy plastic, as well as this gunmetal finish underneath. Then we have the gunmetal paint on all these little niblets, and then the gunmetal paint on the side of the ribs. The torso itself is on a ball joint, and you can even extend it and get a wider angle, but we're going to keep it down for now. Shoulders are on a ball hinge at the base of the shoulder, and like I said, I'm being careful. I know I'm repeating myself, but I feel like it's necessary. And you can maneuver them here at the ball joint to another ball joint in the shoulder, which you can maneuver, and we'll get this out of the way for now as well. That's ratcheted there at the base, swivels at the base. Another ball joint here at the top, and then these are on separate hinges that go out to the side. This piece here plugs into that piece there, and that's how it stays stable. This red, it almost looks like it has a wash on it, like a really light wash, but I'm not sure if it does. Black paint, gold paint inside of there, and the ball joint is intact. And there's that ball joint getting the full use now, so you can get really extreme angles without a problem. This thing plays a lot like a Chijoken than it does like a Transformer, so it's a bit foreign to me, but the articulation is there, and the tolerances are good. They're a little squeaky, a little tight, but rather it be that than the opposite, right? That's really significant squeak there. Bicep swivel. It does go all the way around. I'm not going to put any additional stress on it. Elbow gets you past 90 degrees, and it's on a single hinge, so that's okay. That's more than okay, actually. Got this burgundy finish on top of the red plastic here. Black paint in there, red paint, this gunmetal finish, the red paint there. Wrists are on a swivel, which does seem like a little, like not par for the course. Seems like it would have been a swiveled hinge or something. And then the fingers are a single pin hinge down there at the base knuckle. So that's good to go. Over here, this lion head here, which is massive. But it's a stylistic choice, right? So if you think it's too big, then it's not for you. I think it's cool because it's kind of an exaggerated piece overall, and I think it fits with the aesthetic. The lion head, we're going to talk about it now just because we're here, but there's a gold metallic finish paint on it with a red paint in each one of those squares. Gunmetal paint there, gray plastic there, red and black paint on the eyes, black paint here and on the nose, and gunmetal on the crown of the lion head. Not a whole lot to complain about. This also unpegs from that shoulder piece, and you can get it out of the way as much as you can. Now, all of the pieces of the mane are articulated on ball joints that sit up in there, and then I think that's it. Make sure, but yeah. So we're just getting it out of the way so we can look at it cleanly. The same articulation on the opposite side, and paint is the same throughout. Okay. Waist, you don't get the waist swivel, but you can swivel at the top torso piece, so that's fine. ball jointed hips, which seems like an odd choice. It seems like a universal, like a circular universal joint would have been better placed here, especially ratcheted. There's a lot of weight to this guy, and it seems like that would have been a much better choice. I'm not sure why they didn't do it, because I don't really see a reason why they didn't. So that's like a kind of a complaint of mine. I don't see the point, to be honest, in going that route. And I think these hips are supposed to actually be sitting up a bit higher. But yeah, it's just, they're not bad joints. You know, it just seems like a universal joint would have been better, like a universal type of ball hinge joint. But whatever, it is what it is. Articulation is not impeded whatsoever. You can get extreme angles on this fella with no problem, both in and out to the side. If you want to, you can bring the hip down and kind of push it underneath, much like a SH Figuarts figure, if you've ever looked at one of those. So bring the hip down, kick it out to get your full articulation. Then you can bring the hip back up. For the thighs themselves, they swivel on the ball joint, and that's okay. I like that. It's very anatomically correct, and I just dig the way it aesthetically lends itself to a figure. We got gunmetal paint on the white, black paint, more gunmetal paint, gunmetal on the back. The knees are double jointed, and then this I love this. Okay, so it's for transformation, but if you wanted to get them in an extreme pose with the knee, you can slide this bit up and cover the ugliness of the knee joint. It's just brilliant. And then a dark burgundy finish on the knee joint itself. We'll push that back down and close the knee up. For the calves, tons of paint. Black, the gunmetal, the gold, the red. Tons of stuff going on there. The ankles are on a ball peg. The ball joint sits in the socket of the foot. So you get the rocker and the tilt. The tilt's a little limited. The rocker's pretty much intact. It wouldn't hurt to have a little bit of extra wiggle room there, but it is okay. In each one of the toes. Oops. And that's the kind of stuff we're trying to avoid here. I wonder if Brandon gets like worried. So I'll peg that back on. It's just a ball peg. It just sits in that socket there. But we can look at this a little bit closer now that we have it off. Ball peg here at the ankle too to hide the joint, so that's smart. And these two are on hinges on the side of the middle toe, so that's good to go. Same on the other side, and that's this figure in a nutshell. All right, transformation. Pray for me. For the legs, you pretty much bring them down at the hinge there at the base of the pelvis. Fold the knees back. Bring that piece down, and then rotate just the bottom portion of the foot down. I hope that makes sense. And that is that. I don't think this piece does anything but sit there. Same for the other side. Bring that down, and then you want to fold that piece up, right? Yes. And that is the back portion of the lion complete. Then you want to do the chest. They're on ball pegs on hinges, I think. Yes, so the hinge is inside the red plastic and the ball peg is in the torso. Bring those up and then rotate them around. They are little ball pegs, use caution. And then collapse them onto the chest as tight as possible. I'm not even sure if that's going to be enough, but we'll see. Then the shoulders come up. Flip the hands. Around. Oof, scary. And then you have the front part of the paw. So, same on the other side. Front part of the paw. Now, we're getting there, right? Starting to take shape. These two sections here are on swivels at the base, and then they're on this ratchet. It's a very nice ratchet, but they have to go underneath one another, and I'm going to be careful because there's die cast in here and there's plastic, and I don't know. They have to go kind of underneath, and then they peg together. And this is scary, like almost as scary as...
This is creepy. I'm not exactly sure how I got here. I want my mom.
So here's the lion at his base. Sorry I had to cut away. You have to spin this piece 180 degrees, and then you have to tab in the gray piece from the lion head part to the gold piece on the shoulder mane part, and it is not easy to do because there's so many moving pieces that it's hard to tell what is the right way to have it lined up. So we're going to talk about this lion, and then we're going to add the accessories and talk about them. But just for the sake of maneuverability and so forth, we're going to start without the accessories. So the head, it's like it's on so many joints. You do get a full swivel pretty much out of it. You can see how this stuff moves around. And then the jaw opens to an extreme level, which is nice. The mane, this piece is articulated. This piece even a little bit. The top part, these side bits here, like there's tons in there. The front legs are a problem. So these joints are a little loose. This one more so than the other. This one's a little bit better. But because of his weight, when you start to bend it, this leg over here starts to fail a bit. They both do, but that one more so. But if you keep them standing straight up, like at attention, so to speak, you won't have any problems. Same thing before with that torso. You extend it a little bit, and you can get a little bit of an ankle, like not an ankle, like an ab crunch, like a sideways ab crunch. So that's nice, and then you can collapse it. Hind legs work the same. Or I should go through this. This is missing a white piece, Brandon. I don't see it in the box, so just drawing that to your attention. This ankle piece moves here to allow you to move the toes and all that, and then you get this joint here, and then the bicep swivel. You know, actually, I guess, yeah. Actually, you might even, I don't know. But all that is there, articulation-wise. And in the back, you get this same ball joint here, and then a little bit in the knee, and then this ankle. All in all, this is not my favorite, but what does make this cool, and it's not my favorite because it's just, there's just so many moving pieces, and then this, I think if maybe this joint was stronger, let's stand him straight up. That would be a little bit better. It's just, it doesn't really look like a lion to me. Now I don't know much about Beast Wars, so maybe it's dead on accurate. I'm not sure, but I don't know. It's just not my favorite. But I mean, for what it is, it's certainly well done. It looks striking. The head is really, you know, crazy. But let's try to arm him up a bit, shall we? So we'll put this piece on, which is his tail. And that all works really well. And then these pieces here, they are on these ratchets, and they come up, and then you can take those and you can plug these guns in here in the back. And have that look. You can also take his swords and plug them into the side pegs here. And kind of have these like badass guns on his flank, which I do like a lot. Now, this does kind of get in the way a bit of the head, so if you want this look another way, remove these ever so carefully from those small pegs. Take this piece, which I was able to finally manipulate. This usually sits in here like that. Kind of, sort of, kind of like that, right? I think. And maneuver these down. They only bend one way, so to speak. And it's very tight, makes me very nervous. And then you can have these out to the side, and you can post these rail guns on. And then plug that back in. And that's pretty. It doesn't get much more BA than that, does it? That's intimidating. You know, it's intimidating when he stands. So let's make him do that. Yeah. Yeah, that means business. I can get behind that. And there's tons of little things you can do. You can have these sitting back on his hips. You can have these poking backwards. There's tons of little ways to manipulate it. And like I said, I don't want to mess with him too much because so far so good. I haven't broke him, and I'd like to return him intact. Size comparison-wise, there he is next to MP10. So definitely not built for your Masterpiece collection, even though he has Masterpiece level materials and so forth. And then there he is with a modern day Voyager, so a bit taller, so he will fit with your Chug collection. The problem is that aesthetically he's going to look so much better. You know what I mean? He's going to look out of place. Final thoughts wise, one of the problems is this guy's biceps. They're loose. My right one is way looser than the left one. You can get away with it posed in robot mode. In lion mode, it really serves as a big issue. The other problem is there's some places where, like, he's super articulated, but there are some places I wish there was a little bit more, namely the ankles. Like, if you could get that foot down, like, I've kind of cheated on his left foot and put the toes down and make it look like his foot's down. But if you could get the foot down, like on a hinge a little bit more and make it rock a bit more, I think you'd have a lot more posability options with this fella. The only other negative is that the lion mode is, you know, it's just like every other lion mode, right? Like the legs been down, the arms been down, except you had this nightmare of this head thing to kind of put together over top of his robot head. It's just a pain. It's not the worst thing in the world. It's just a bit obnoxious. He does come with a stand, though. You know I love stands. Now, normally, you know I would slam a company pretty good for having a situation like this tail that seems to be breaking on everyone. But the reason why I'm not going to do it with this one is because it came with all those replacement pieces. It didn't make you buy them separate. It didn't make it come with the next release that you had to buy. It just came with it in a separate baggie. It's like they knew. They knew that people were going to break it because people are heavy-handed. Like, I've now manipulated this toy and have not had anything break, knock on wood, but I exercise extreme care. This is a pretty fantastic figure. The paint is second to none. Like, I've come to expect that with Perfect Effect, but really it's on another level. The materials, perfect. The accessories, wonderful. Everything is done in a very professional manner. It seems like this company has been making toys for 50 years. It comes across really well. It's very well thought out. It's highly engineered. It's like a high art piece. Now, the problem with that is a lot of Transformer collectors specifically like to play with their toys. And I'm not judging you. This is a safe place. But this guy is definitely a display piece. This guy is not something to muck about with on the floor. He is going to break. He is meant for display. He is meant for appreciation. He is meant to be marveled at, kind of, from a shelf. Not to be thrown about on the floor. He's going to break. There's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of die cast. There's a lot of really well yet thin designed pieces that hold up well doing what it's supposed to do. It's just that people need to understand that the intention of this toy is not for play. The moment you touch it, it's obvious that it's meant to be displayed. It's meant to be taken seriously. It's meant to be treated like art and not like a toy. That's an understanding issue. If you can understand that, you're going to be able to appreciate this, love this, and feel like you got your money's worth. If you bought this guy to do battle on the dining room floor, you are minutes away from total disappointment and a waste of $150. But if you're a guy that likes to take the piece out of the box, maybe transform it once, maybe not, put it on a shelf, put it in a badass pose, and appreciate it from afar, and appreciate it to an extreme level because it's so good looking, you're gonna want this guy. If you're a Beast Wars guy, you're gonna want this guy. If you're a Lio Convoy guy, you're gonna want this guy. If you're a Perfect Effect guy or a high-end art toy guy, kind of aficionado or appreciator or whatever you want to call it, this guy is gonna scratch that itch. But know thyself, if you're heavy-handed, if you like to muck about, this is not the toy for you. So special shout out to Brandon. A lot of guys have been asking me to take a look at this guy, and you guys should thank Brandon as well. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.